Good morning, everyone. So our topic for today is about the more the merrier. Describe the different modes of reproductions in flowering and non-flowering plants such as moss, ferns, mango, and others. Okay, at the end of the lesson, the learner is expected to describe the modes of reproduction of a fern, moss, mango, or corn, and perform an experiment on seed germination. It's either mango or corn. So reproduction of plants is divided into two, which is angiosperms and gymnosperms. What are angiosperms? Angiosperms are flowering plants. Mode of reproduction is through pollen, while gymnosperms are non-flowering plants. Mode of reproduction through naked seeds or spores. Okay, pag sinabi nating angiosperms, mga halaman na namumulaklak at sila ay dumadami gamit ang pollen. Okay? Then, ang gymnosperms naman ay tinatawag na halaman na mga hindi namumulaklak at nagpaparami sila gamit ang spores. So, paano nga ba nagpaparami ang mga angiosperms or yung tinatawag nating flowering plants? Through pollination. So, what is pollination? Pollination, the transfer of pollen from anther to stigma. So, di ba napansin natin, last time, meron tayong lesson about the parts of the flower. Ito yung tinatawag nating male part ng flower, which is the stamen. Okay, that stamen contains anther. Ito, anther and filaments. So, in the filament, makikita natin na may mga dilaw-dilaw. In microscope, ganito ang itsura ng mga dilaw-dilaw na yun na tinatawag nating pollen. Kaya nga po pollination dahil ginagamitan ng pollen. If this pollen will transfer to stigma. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, yung pollination ay magaganap kapag yung pollen grains ay mapupunta doon sa stigma. May two types ng pollination. Yung una ay self-pollination. What is self-pollination? Self-pollination is transfer of pollen from anther to stigma of the same plant. Pag sinabing same plant, iisang halaman lang. Kaya kung mapapansin nyo, yung pollens galing sa anther ay mapupunta rin sa stigma ng parehas na halaman. Kaya self. Okay? The other classification of pollination is what we call cross-pollination. What is cross-pollination? Transfer of pollen from anther to stigma of the another plant. So, ang term dito ay another plant. Kaya kung mapapansin nyo, may dalawa na ditong halaman. Okay? So, sa plant 1, yung kanyang pollen ay nalipat doon sa plant 2. Okay? Paano? Dahil dito sa honeybee. So, itong honeybee na ito ay tinatawag nating agents of pollination. Pag sinabing agent, sila yung mga nagdadala ng pollen grains doon sa isang plant papunta sa isa pang halaman. Okay? So, mapupunta yun gamit ang agents of pollination. So, hindi lang naman honeybees, diba? Pwede rin butterfly, pwede rin hangin. Kapag sobrang hangin, mahahanginan yung pollen grains na pupunta yun sa stigma ng ibang plant. Okay, so ang tatandaan lang, pag cross-pollination, another plant, pag self-pollination naman, ay on the plant itself. Okay, so let's have a video and listen to our animated teacher.
Hi kids! Today we will learn about pollination and fertilization in plants. So let's start. We learned that all living beings reproduce. That is, all living things give birth to the same kind. And similarly, plants too reproduce their own kind. And most of the plants reproduce through seeds. That is, they produce seeds which when it germinates and produces a new plant. Let's see how these seeds are produced. We learned the structure of a flower in our last assignment. This is pedicel, which is a green color stalk. Then this broader part is a receptacle, and all other parts are arranged in 4 whorls. Tutway has thousands of animated videos on math, English, and science to clear the core basics of these subjects. The first whorl is of green sepals. Second is colorful petals. Third is stamens, which is the male reproductive part. Fourth is carpel or pistil, which is the female reproductive part. Stamen consists of a long stalk called filament and a swollen head called anther. It consists of numerous very small pollens, which are male reproductive cells. Pistil consists of a sticky structure called stigma, attached to a long tube-like structure called style, and style ends in a swollen part called ovary. And this ovary contains the female reproductive cells, ovules. When pollens from the anther of stamen joins with the ovules present in the ovary, we call it fertilization. Let's revise. When pollens from the anther of stamen joins with the ovules present in the ovary, it is called fertilization. And fertilization forms the seeds inside the ovary. And after fertilization, this ovary changes into a fruit. That's why seeds are there inside the fruit. Now let's see what is pollination. Pollination is a process by which pollen is transferred from the anther, that is, the male part, to the stigma, which is the female part of the plant, thereby enabling the fertilization and reproduction in turn. Now let's see how pollination occurs or how pollens reach stigma. There are various ways. How do pollens reach the stigma? Flowers have bright petals and strong fragrance that attract insects and other animals. Also, flowers have thin, nutritious honey-like liquids called nectar inside of them that acts as food for many insects. Butterflies, bees, and many other insects feed on the nectar. So they visit the flower to suck nectar. While sucking nectar from the flowers, they are in no way harmed by the insects. Insects feed on the nectar present in the flowers. Tutway has thousands of animated videos on math, English, and science to clear the core basics of these subjects. And while doing so, the pollens from the anther gets attached to the body of the insects. And when these insects visit some other flower for nectar, pollens get to the sticky top of the pistils, and by the way of long tubes called style. Pollens reach the ovary where ovules are present, and fertilization occurs, leading to the formation of seeds. So this process of pollens reaching the sticky tops of pistils is called pollination. And pollens may reach to the stigma of the same flower or stigma of different flowers When pollens reach the stigma of the same flower, it is called self-pollination. And when pollens reach the stigma of different flowers of the same kind, it's called cross-pollination. So kids, we now know what is fertilization and what is pollination. Now we will learn about different agents of pollination. Insects like bees, butterflies, beetles, etc. are the main agents of pollination. Birds and mammals too pollinate some flowers. Wind also acts as an agent of pollination. Water too acts as an agent of pollination. So kids, today we learned about fertilization and pollination. Now go ahead and take a quiz to learn more. Bye-bye!
Okay, so that is the lesson about the pollination. So, balikan natin ha. May babalikan lang tayong mga ilang points, which is, okay, ang pollination, fertilization. Ayun. Okay. So, ibig sabihin, yung fertilization, nangyayari yan kapag ka nagkakaroon ng seeds. Okay? Mapafertilize ang isang halaman kapag ka may nabuong seed. Bakit may seed? Kasi pinagsamang pollen at ovules. Again, pollens plus ovules equal seeds. That is fertilization. Isa pa. Pollens plus ovules equal seeds. That is what we call fertilization. Pag sinabi naman nating pollination, gumagamit ng pollen grains. Okay, pollen grains para magparami. Okay, so yun po ang pinagkaiba ng pollination sa fertilization. Okay, so I have a trivia here, like what the anime teacher said. Most of the fruits came from flowers. Okay? Pero hindi ko sinasabi na lahat ng bulaklak ay nagkakaroon ng prutas. Most. So, halos lahat ng mga prutas ay nanggaling sa bulaklak. So, nagkakaroon ng isang prutas, isang halaman, kasi ito ay namumulaklak. Pero, hindi lahat ng bulaklak ay nagiging prutas. Ulit. Okay, ulitin natin. Lahat ng prutas ay galing sa bulaklak. Pero, hindi lahat ng bulaklak ay nagiging prutas. Okay? Example natin ng prutas na galing sa bulaklak ay apple. Okay, yung apple, kaya naging prutas kasi galing sa bulaklak. Another example, sunflower. Ang sunflower ay isang bulaklak. Pero, hindi iyon nagiging prutas. Okay? So, ano-ano nga ba ang mga pinagkaparehas ng flower at ng isang fruit? Una, yung peduncle. Okay, peduncle or also known as a pedicel, part din siya ng flower. So, this peduncle will be also a peduncle. Okay, then, next stop is, this ovary will be pericarp. Okay, so yan yung mga parts. And then, ovules will be the seed. Paano mabubuo ang seed? Nabuo ang seed dahil sa pollen plus ovules. Okay? So, yun po. Nasaan na yung mga petals? Okay? Yung petals nawala na dahil lumaki na yung part ng ovary ng flower which is naging pericarp. Okay? Next natin is gymnosperms. So, itong gymnosperms are also known as non-flowering plants. The male cones releases spores which is blown by the wind. If the spores lands on the female cone, it fertilizes the female egg cell. The fertilized egg develops into seed. Okay. So, ito yung example ng life cycle ng isang gymnosperms. So, gymnosperms ay nagbibigay ng mga spores. Okay, spores po yung nilalabas ng isang gymnosperms. Again, gymnosperms are non-flowering plants. Okay, so let us watch the video for us to understand more about the gymnosperms.
The term gymnosperm comes from the Greek words gymnos and sperma. Meaning of gymnos is naked and sperma means seed. So gymnosperms are called naked seed plant. They are a group of seed-producing plants. They have well-developed taproot system, stem, and leaf. Leaves of these plants vary in nature based on climate and environment. Gymnosperms undergo secondary thickening and as a result, stem's girth increases. Bark are formed due to it. They have two phases in life cycle. Mature plant are sporophytic phase, and during reproduction, seed gets converted to gametes. This phase is called gametophytic phase. Most of the gymnosperms produce male and female cones. In such plants, reproduction takes place in same plant. There are gymnosperms which have either male or female cones. In such plants, male sperm are taken through air to female egg and reproduction take place. Let's discuss few uses of gymnosperms. Pine, rosewood, fir, cedrus are used in making furniture, pencil, and matchboxes. Timber, oils are produced from pinus. Resins are used in the manufacturing of paints, ointments, and varnishes. Ephedrine, alkaloid, is obtained from ephedra plant which cures asthma. Neem plant is used in curing rheumatism. Rheumatism is a disease which causes pain and inflammation in tissues. Agathis plant has paper pulps which are used in making papers. Araucaria, also known as monkey's puzzle, are evergreen ornamental plant. You can find this plant in garden and at home.
Okay, so pinakita dito yung life cycle ng gametophyte or ng mga gymnosperms. Ba? So, pinakita rin dito kung ano yung mga use ng gymnosperms. Okay, so balikan natin, ha, no? Yan, katulad niyan, napapansin natin na meron siyang cones. So, we have male cones and female cones. As we observe, female cones is bigger than the male cones. Ito yung pinaka-seed nila, kaya yung tinawag na naked seed. We are thinking that these are flowers, but it is not. Kasi nga, gymnosperm ito. Ang gymnosperm hindi nagpo-produce o wala itong mga flower. Pero meron silang tinatawag na cones. Okay? Okay, so that is the end of our topic. If you have questions,